Deaf-mute horror author Maddie Young lost her abilities to hear and speak after contracting bacterial meningitis at age 13. The disease caused permanent hearing loss and temporary vocal cord paresis, which became permanent after unsuccessful surgery. Hoping to advance her writing career following her publication of the novel Midnight Mass and receiving international critical acclaim, Maddie leaves New York City and lives an isolated life in the woods with her white cat. Her friend Sarah visits her one evening to return a copy of her book, and they talk about her isolation and Sarah's desire to learn more sign language. Later that night, a masked killer with a crossbow attacks Sarah and chases her to Maddie's house. A bloodied Sarah bangs on the door shouting for help. She goes unnoticed by Maddie as she is deaf, and the killer stabs Sarah in the stomach 13 times, resulting in her death. The killer quickly deduces that Maddie is deaf and decides to try and make her another victim. He sneaks into her house and steals her phone, which he then uses to take pictures of her and send them to her. Maddie realizes she is being stalked and tries to call the police, but the killer cuts the power and punctures the tires on her car to prevent escape. Maddie writes, "Won't tell, didn't see face, boyfriend coming home," on the glass panel door with her lipstick. The killer responds by taking off his mask and revealing his face and, upon learning she can read lips, taunts her with the threat of waiting to break in. He then uses Sarah's corpse to knock on the window. Maddie uses her car keys to trigger her car alarm in an attempt to distract the killer so she can retrieve Sarah's phone from her corpse's pocket, but is caught by him before she can grab it and quickly locks herself back inside. While attempting to escape through the second-story window, Maddie is shot in the leg by the killer with a crossbow bolt, but she manages to knock him off the roof and steal the weapon. Sarah's boyfriend, John, arrives at Maddie's house looking for Sarah. The killer poses as a police officer responding to a call, but John grows suspicious of him. He plans to attack the killer from behind with a rock, but Maddie distracts him by banging on the window, allowing the killer to stab him in the neck. As John bleeds to death, he puts the killer in a chokehold to buy Maddie enough time to escape, but she realizes that she will either be caught or bleed to death. Her only chance for survival is to kill her assailant. Outside, the killer is about to kill Maddie's cat with his knife, but she shoots him in the shoulder with the crossbow. As Maddie retreats into the house and sticks her hand out to get a crossbow arrow, the killer slams the sliding door on her wrist and crushes her hand beneath his boot. He allows Maddie to pull her mangled hand inside and close and lock the door. When he threatens to enter the house, Maddie writes, "Do it, coward," on the door with her own blood. As the killer begins bashing the door in with a tire iron, Maddie uses her laptop to type up a description of the man and a message to her family. She then locks herself in her bathroom, armed with a knife. Failing to break through the door, the killer opts to crash through the bathroom skylight. Maddie does not notice him until he breathes against her neck. She narrowly avoids his attack and stabs him in the knee. He follows her into the kitchen, where she blasts his face with insecticide and uses her visual smoke alarm to disorient him. He begins strangling her, but she finally kills him when she stabs him in the neck with a corkscrew. Maddie retrieves her cell phone from the man's body and dials 911. As she sits on her porch steps while the police approach her, Maddie pets her cat and smiles.